Welcome to the Ainfluencer podcast, your go-to hub for influencer marketing, e-commerce, and affiliate strategies. Follow us to uncover success stories, expert advice, and practical insights to elevate your brand. This is the Ainfluencer podcast, your guide to mastering influence and transforming your business. Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, welcome back. You're here for another deep dive, and let me tell you, today's topic is all about getting real, getting strategic, and getting ahead of the curve. We're talking social listening.
Yeah, social listening.
Now, we're not just talking about casually scrolling through your feeds, right? This is about really understanding the conversations happening around your brand, your industry, your whole world online.
It's about going deeper.
Exactly. Deeper. You see, a lot of people confuse social listening with social media monitoring, and it's important to make that distinction right off the bat.
Huge difference.
Right. One of our sources had this great analogy. It's like monitoring is glancing at the headlines, just seeing what people are talking about, but social listening, that's reading the whole article, understanding the context, the nuances, figuring out the why.
Why are people saying what they're saying?
Exactly. Why does it matter to you? And let me tell you, it matters a lot.
It does.
To illustrate, think about this. A clothing retailer sees their brand mentioned like 100 times online in a day.
Right.
Okay, great. That's monitoring. But social listening digs into those mentions.
Yeah.
What's the sentiment? Are people raving about a new product line? Are they frustrated with shipping delays? Are they asking for specific styles or features? It's that why that helps you make smarter business decisions.
It's not just data, it's intelligence.
Exactly. Actionable intelligence. And this isn't just for retail, by the way. Our sources really emphasize this. We're talking any industry where customer conversations are happening online. Hospitality, healthcare, technology, finance, you name it.
Anyone who wants to understand their customers better, really.
Exactly. It's like having this constant real-time pulse of what your audience is thinking, feeling, needing. Imagine a hotel chain using social listening to see what guests are saying about their amenities, their specific locations. Then they could use that feedback to personalize experiences, improve their offerings, really wow those guests.
Or a hospital monitoring online discussions about specific health concerns, or a tech company really tuning into user feedback on their latest app update.
Oh, that's a good one. Identifying those bugs early.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, traditional market research like focus groups and surveys, they can be so expensive and time-consuming. Social listening gives you those rich insights faster and often at a fraction of the cost.
It's a game changer, really, in terms of speed and efficiency.
Absolutely. Now, when we talk about social listening, there are two key approaches, reactive and proactive.
Right.
Initially, I think people tend to think of social listening as this reactive thing, right? Like putting out fires.
Oh, absolutely. Damage control, like responding to a sudden influx of customer complaints or,
Right.
Managing a PR crisis.
Right. Very much on the defensive. But the real magic happens when you shift to proactive social listening.
That's where it gets really exciting.
Yeah. Because now you're using those online conversations to anticipate what's coming next, to spot emerging trends, needs, even potential problems before they become full-blown crises.
It's like instead of waiting for that flood of negative reviews about your new website design, you pick up on a few early grumbles in online forums, maybe some negative sentiment around specific keywords.
Right. And you can tweak the design, make those improvements before it impacts a larger portion of your customer base.
It's about being agile, responsive, and data-driven.
I love that. So, okay, we've got a good grasp of what social listening is and why it matters, right? But how do we actually put it into practice? Our sources, they all highlight the importance of starting with clear goals.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't just want to be listening randomly, You need to have a purpose.
Right. You need to know what you're listening for. And those objectives should be, specific, measurable, tied to your overall business strategy.
So if your goal is to boost brand loyalty, you might focus on tracking brand sentiment and, finding opportunities for positive engagement with your audience.
I love it. It all comes back to those bigger goals.
Absolutely. And our sources, they offer some great examples of those objectives.
Yeah. What were some of those?
So there's tracking overall brand sentiment. Like, how are people generally perceiving your brand? Are they positive, negative, neutral?
That's huge. Imagine a streaming service seeing a dip in positive sentiment after a price increase. That's valuable data.
Absolutely. Or there's competitor analysis.
Oh, keeping tabs on the competition. That's smart.
Yeah. Seeing what people are saying about their products, their services. Are there any weaknesses you can exploit, any opportunities you can jump on?
Love it.
Then there's identifying industry trends.
Oh, spotting those broader shifts in consumer conversations.
Exactly, like a food company noticing a surge in discussions about plant-based diets. That could signal a need to diversify their product line.
Super interesting. And of course, there's gathering customer feedback.
Oh, that's a big one.
Right, direct from the source. Like a software company monitoring mentions of bugs or feature requests.
Or an airline seeing complaints about long wait times at a specific airport. They can then make adjustments, improve the customer experience.
It's all about those actionable insights.
Absolutely. And don't forget about tracking the performance of your marketing campaigns.
Oh, right. Are people engaging with your content? Are they sharing it? Are they responding positively to your messaging?
And of course, identifying influencers who are already talking about your brand or your industry.
That's huge for reach and credibility.
Definitely. But the key takeaway from all of our sources is that no matter what your specific objectives are, they need to be tied to your overall business goals.
It's not just about collecting data for the sake of data. It's about making strategic decisions that impact your bottom line.
Exactly.
Looking to connect with your audience and make your product go viral? Meet Ainfluencer.com, the end-to-end marketplace that connects you with over 1 million Instagram and TikTok influencers for free. With no subscriptions or fees, Ainfluencer.com makes it easy to find the perfect collaboration partners for your brand instantly. Its AI-powered system does the heavy lifting, matching you with influencers based on niche demographics, past performance, and engagement. Start your campaign directly from your Ainfluencer dashboard or your Shopify store in seconds. Manage everything from inviting influencers and negotiating deals to secure payments and performance analytics all in one place. Handle influencer-curated lists, affiliate marketing, and content creation, even translated into 200+ languages, all without paying any platform fees. Unlimited use, forever free. Visit Ainfluencer.com today and take your brand to the next level.
So, okay, you've got your goals. Now you need the right tools to get the job done. And luckily, our sources point out there's a whole range of options out there.
There really are a lot.
You know, from like those powerful enterprise level platforms to more streamlined and budget friendly solutions.
So on the more robust side, you've got platforms like Sprout Social, Talkwalker, Brandwatch.
Yeah, those are great for like big organizations that need really in-depth analytics and comprehensive reporting.
Right, but then you've got, like mentioned, Brand24, which are often more accessible and user-friendly for smaller businesses or like those just starting out with social listening.
And our sources also highlight how influencer marketplaces, like Ainfluencer, can play a role.
Interesting. How so?
Well, they're not strictly social listening tools, but they can be a great complement.
I see.
So you might use a social listening tool to identify like key people who are actively discussing your industry, and then you can use a platform like Ainfluencer to actually connect and collaborate with them.
So find them through listening, engage with them through a separate platform. Got it.
Yeah. And when you're evaluating these tools, there are several key features to consider.
Like what?
Well, obviously, keyword tracking. You need to be able to track your brand name, product names, relevant hashtags, even misspellings, right?
All right. Got to catch it all.
Exactly. Then there's sentiment analysis. The tool's ability to automatically categorize mentions as positive, negative, or neutral.
Super helpful for getting a quick overview of how people feel about your brand or a specific topic.
But, you know, it's important to remember that sentiment analysis isn't perfect.
Yeah, it's not always black and white.
Right. Sarcasm, humor, complex emotions, those can be tricky for algorithms to pick up on.
Yeah, sometimes you really need that human eye to understand the nuance.
Exactly. Other important features include demographic data, geographic data, influencer identification, real-time alerts, you know, things like that.
It's about having all the information you need to make informed decisions.
Absolutely. And of course, the ability to export that data and create reports that you can share with your team.
Because insights are only valuable if you can actually act on them.
Right. Okay, so you've defined your goals, you've chosen your tools. Now it's time to figure out what you're actually going to listen for.
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, you need to identify those keywords and topics that are going to give you the most valuable insights.
So where do we even begin?
Our sources all recommend starting with the basics. Your brand name, product names, slogans, you know, common misspellings, competitor names.
I got to cover all your bases.
Exactly. Then you want to broaden your scope to include more general industry terms and product category keywords.
So if you're a coffee company, you're not just tracking Acme coffee, you're also tracking specialty coffee, cold brew, fair trade, things like that.
Exactly. And don't forget to think like your customers. What language are they using?
What problems are they trying to solve?
Right. A travel company might listen for phrases like family vacation, budget-friendly travel, adventure travel.
That's smart. You want to tap into those real conversations people are having.
And hashtags, of course, are crucial, especially on platforms like Instagram and Twitter.
Oh yeah, hashtags are like the threads that connect these conversations.
They are. And then there are Boolean operators, which can really help you refine your search.
I've heard of those.
Yeah, they let you combine keywords using terms like "andy" or "and not" to create really specific searches.
So like running shoes Andy Marathon would give you results that include both of those terms.
Exactly. Or "coffee and not Starbucks" would exclude results that mention Starbucks.
So powerful for filtering out that irrelevant noise.
It is. But it's not a set it and forget it thing. You need to constantly review the data you're collecting, see if you're getting a lot of irrelevant results or if you're missing key conversations.
It's an iterative process.
Absolutely. Okay, so you're listening to the right conversations. Now it's time to analyze all that data to extract those valuable insights.
Turn data into action.
Exactly. And there are two key aspects to this: sentiment analysis and trend identification.
So sentiment analysis, we touched on that earlier. It's about understanding how people feel, right? Positive, negative, neutral.
Yeah. And most social listening tools can do this automatically, assigning a sentiment score to each mention.
Super helpful for getting a quick overview. Like, is there a sudden spike in negative sentiment around a specific product launch?
Exactly. But again, it's important to remember that sentiment analysis isn't perfect. Algorithms can misinterpret sarcasm or complex language.
Right. Context is everything.
It is. So while sentiment analysis is a great starting point, it's always a good idea to do some manual review, actually read through some of those mentions to get a better understanding of the nuances.
The human touch.
Absolutely. Then there's trend identification, which is all about spotting those recurring patterns and themes in the conversation.
What are people talking about? What are their concerns? What are they excited about?
Exactly. Like, are you seeing a lot of mentions about a specific feature request? Is there a new problem that seems to be gaining traction?
It's about spotting those early indicators.
It is. And this is where social listening can really help you get ahead of the curve.
So, okay, we've got our sentiment, we've identified some trends. Now what?
Now it's time to act on those insights. If you're seeing consistently negative sentiment around, say, your customer service, you need to investigate why and make changes.
Make it right.
Yeah. If a new marketing campaign is getting a lot of negative feedback, maybe you need to adjust your messaging or even pull the campaign altogether.
Or, conversely, if you're seeing really positive sentiment around a specific product, you might want to double down on promoting it.
Exactly. It's all about using those insights to make data-driven decisions.
Love it. Now let's talk about using social listening for competitor analysis, because it's not just about what people are saying about you.
Oh, definitely not. You need to know what they're saying about your competitors, too.
So what kind of insights can we glean from our rivals?
Well, one key metric is share of voice.
Share of voice, okay.
Yeah, it's basically the percentage of the total online conversation within your industry that's about your brand compared to your competitors.
So if there are like 10,000 mentions about you and your competitors, and 4,000 of those mentions are about you, you have a 40% share of voice.
Exactly. And this can give you a sense of how visible your brand is, how prominent you are in the online space.
But it's not just about the quantity of mentions, right?
No, you also need to look at the sentiment.
Of course.
Are those mentions positive, negative, neutral? And most social listening tools allow you to easily compare your brand's sentiment to your competitors.
So you might find that a competitor has a larger share of voice, but a lot of those mentions are negative because of like a recent product recall or something.
Right. And that could present an opportunity for you to highlight your own brand strengths in that area.
Very strategic.
It is. You can also track specific aspects of your competitors' businesses, like their customer service, their pricing, their marketing campaigns.
You're basically getting a free peek behind the curtain.
You are. And this can give you a real competitive edge. You can learn from their mistakes, capitalize on their weaknesses, and even anticipate their next moves.
It's like having a secret weapon.
It kind of is.
Okay, so we've talked about listening to the broader industry, keeping an eye on the competition. But now let's focus on using social listening to really understand and engage with our own customers.
This is where it gets really personal.
Right. Because social media gives us this incredible opportunity to have a direct, real-time connection with our audience.
It's like having a constant feedback loop. Every day, your customers are sharing their opinions, their experiences, their pain points.
It's like a gold mine of insights.
It is. Imagine a restaurant owner seeing multiple Instagram posts praising a new dish. That's immediate validation that they're doing something right.
And conversely, if they're seeing a lot of complaints about slow service, they can address that issue right away.
Exactly. And in today's digital world, customers expect businesses to be responsive on social media.
Oh, absolutely. I know I do.
Yeah, and our sources point to data suggesting that a huge percentage of customers expect a response to their inquiries within a few hours.
Which means you need to be monitoring those conversations, even if they don't directly tag your brand.
Right. Someone might just tweet, "Ugh, my internet is down again," without mentioning their provider specifically.
And without social listening, you'd miss that opportunity to engage.
Exactly. And that engagement can make a huge difference. Turning a negative experience into a positive one can build so much brand loyalty.
It's all about making that customer feel heard, valued.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's best to take those conversations offline. Encourage them to send you a direct message for more personalized support.
Yeah, that shows you're taking their privacy seriously.
And it allows for a more in-depth conversation.
Right. Now, it's not just about responding to negative feedback, right? You also want to engage with those positive mentions, build that community.
Definitely. A simple thank you can go a long way.
Yeah, or resharing user-generated content. Like, if someone posts a great picture of themselves using your product, why not feature that on your own social media?
Absolutely. It shows appreciation, and it encourages more people to share their experiences.
And here's the thing. Social listening can also reveal those underlying issues that customers might not explicitly complain about.
Like, they might not call customer service or write a formal complaint, but they might casually mention a minor annoyance on Twitter.
And by picking up on these seemingly small comments, you can identify areas for improvement that you might have missed otherwise.
It's about those little details that can make a big difference.
Absolutely. But one of the challenges with this, especially for large brands, is managing the sheer volume of mentions.
Oh, yeah, it can be overwhelming.
Right. You can't possibly respond to every single comment.
So you need to have strategies for prioritizing those mentions.
Like focusing on those with negative sentiment or those from particularly influential users.
Exactly. And training your social media team to handle those diverse range of tones and emotions they'll encounter online.
Because it can get heated out there.
Yeah, it can. Okay, let's shift gears now and talk about a really critical application of social listening: crisis management.
Uh-oh, batten down the hatches.
Yeah. In today's hyper-connected world, a negative story, a rumor, a PR misstep, it can spread like wildfire online.
They can go viral in minutes.
It can. And social listening acts as this early warning system, constantly scanning for those potential red flags.
Like what?
Sudden spikes in negative mentions, viral complaints, emerging controversies.
So you can set up alerts for specific keywords or phrases.
Yeah, exactly. Like a food company might set up alerts for food poisoning or recall in combination with their brand name.
That's smart. So if there's even a whisper of a problem, they're immediately notified.
Exactly. And this gives them time to investigate, to assess a situation, and to prepare a response before it blows up.
And, having a solid crisis communication plan in place is crucial.
Absolutely. You need to know how you're going to respond, who's going to be involved, what channels you're going to use.
And social listening can really inform that plan.
It can, because it helps you understand what aspects of the situation are causing the most concern, so you can tailor your messaging accordingly.
That's so important. And our sources highlight some really interesting examples of this in action. The United Airlines incident with the passenger being forcibly removed from the plane.
Yeah, that was a huge lesson in the importance of not just tracking the volume of negative mentions, but also understanding the sentiment, the emotions behind those mentions.
Right, so you can craft a more empathetic and effective response.
Exactly. Social listening can also be crucial for identifying potential product safety issues early on.
Based on what people are saying online.
Yeah, and for combating the spread of misinformation or rumors that could damage your brand.
Right, because perception is reality, especially in the digital age.
It is. The key takeaway here is preparedness.
We'll always be ready.
Yeah. Use social listening to proactively plan for potential crises. And if something does happen, be ready to respond quickly and decisively.
It can make all the difference.
It can. Okay, last but certainly not least, let's talk about data visualization and reporting.
Making sense of all that data.
Yeah. You can collect mountains of social data, but if you can't interpret it and communicate it effectively, it's not going to do you much good.
Right, it's about turning those numbers into insights, into action.
Exactly. And that's where data visualization comes in. It helps you make sense of the data to see those patterns and trends more clearly.
So instead of staring at spreadsheets, you're looking at charts and graphs that tell a story.
Exactly. Line graphs can show you trends over time. Pie charts can show you share of voice or sentiment breakdown. Bar charts can compare different categories. Heat maps can show you geographic data.
It's about making the data come alive.
It is. And when you're creating reports, focus on answering those key questions. What did we learn from this data, and why is it important?
Keep it clear, concise, and actionable.
Absolutely. And use visuals. They make the data so much easier to understand.
And tell a story with the data.
Yes. Provide context, explain what you've done or what you plan to do based on those insights.
Make it relevant.
Exactly. And remember to tailor your reporting to different audiences. The report you give to your marketing team is going to look different from the one you give to your CEO.
Right. Different people need different information.
They do. And the goal of all of this is to make sure that your social listening efforts are actually driving strategic decision-making.
Showing that return on investment.
Exactly. So there you have it, social listening in a nutshell. It's about understanding your audience, your industry, your competitors. It's about being proactive, being responsive, and being data-driven.
It's about making smarter decisions that lead to better business outcomes.
Absolutely. And it's an ongoing process, you know. The online landscape is constantly evolving, so you need to be willing to adapt and refine your strategies.
It's a journey, not a destination.
It is. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with this thought. What are the conversations happening around your business right now? What opportunities are you missing? What potential crises are brewing?
With the right social listening strategy, you can unlock a wealth of insights and take your business to the next level. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Wish your videos could speak the world's language? Imagine your videos breaking through language barriers and reaching billions more people who speak over 200 languages different from yours. Whether you're a brand, influencer, or podcaster,
C'est per te è importante quanto per... If smelling good 24 hours. Si pour toi il est aussi important. Si para ti es tan importante como para mí, oler rico 24 horas.
language shouldn't hold you back from reaching larger audiences. Create a video and distribute it in 200+ languages. How does that sound? Our AI-powered video translation makes it possible with just a click. So why limit your reach? Work smarter. Create one video and turn it into 200+ localized versions.
Horas al día. Tengo que recomendarte Cleansense.
Whether you're a business expanding globally, an influencer connecting with diverse followers, or a YouTuber growing your channel, one thing is clear. Language barriers are a thing of the past. With just a few clicks, you can translate your videos into multiple languages,
Would you like me to translate that?
instantly connecting with audiences worldwide. It's simple. Upload your video. Choose the languages to translate to. Let our AI work its magic. In minutes, your video will be transformed with accurate tone, voice, subtitles, and even voiceover options, ready to captivate audiences in any language.
Last a very long time on your body. There are fragrances for both.
Don't wait. The world is watching. Join thousands of businesses, influencers, and content creators who trust our AI to take their content to a global stage. It's time to start up. Brand ID is your digital hub.